In the temple, there are many festivals we celebrate with a great pomp and gaiety. And one of the festival is Jhulan festival. This Jhulan festival has been celebrated all over India, especially in Vrindavan, and also all over India, all over the world in ISKCON temples. This Jhulan festival is going to start from today. And in ISKCON temples, we celebrate this Jhulan festival till Balram Jayanti. Now, this Jhulan lila is a very beautiful festival. Bhakti Ratnakar explains, in Vrindavan area, there are three prominent places where Radha and Krishna perform their Jhulan lila. One is at Kamyavan, second is at Radha Kund, and the third place is on the bank of the Jamuna. And especially in the monsoon season, this Jhulan festival happens or take place on the bank of the Jamuna. Now, Brinda Devi, she has made all the arrangement of Jhulan festival. On the bank of the Jamuna, there is a forest, little forest. It's called Varsha Harsha. Now, Varsha Harsha means forest of happiness. When you enter in that forest, one becomes completely happy. That's called Varsha Harsha happiness. Varsha Harsha forest. So that forest is filled with hundreds and thousands of trees, beautiful auspicious trees. All those trees, each and every single tree is a wish fulfilling tree. Kalpa Vriksha. Simply by touching those trees, simply by coming under the shade of the tree, one's heart is fully satisfied, one's desires are fulfilled. Even today, if someone goes to Vrindavan and you touch any tree, the tree which is naturally grown in the soil of Vrindavan, that is called Kalparuksha tree. Any tree, but it should be grown naturally in the soils of Vrindavan. That is a Kalparuksha tree. So these trees are like Tamal tree, Kadamba trees, Ashoka tree, Devataru trees. So this Varsha Harsha forest was filled with beautiful trees. Those trees were so tall, if you look upwards, you can't see the end of the trees. Those trees were so tall. And the top branches of those trees, they joined together. It created a natural green canopy. Those canopies were so thick that sometimes the moon rays, they were hesitant to enter and penetrate those canopies. They were so thick. But still, the moon rays found out the place. So they penetrated through those canopies, and those moon rays started falling and touching and kissing the Vrindavan forest floor. Now, as those moon rays were falling, it created a filament of light. Sometimes you see a jagmag, dazzling. So those moon rays were started falling on the ground. It created a filament of light. And there were many deers in Vrindavan forest. They were joyfully frolicking in that forest. After seeing those moon rays, they mistook these moon rays to be divine food. And they started licking the floor of Vrindavan forest. They considered like, oh, these moon rays are something, I don't know, nice divine food. They started licking the forest floor. This forest, now all these trees were embraced and hugged by divine creepers, latae. Those creepers were so tender, so beautiful, and they had so much affection for Krishna. They were serving Krishna. They pleased Krishna by their smile. And what is the smile of these creepers? Their flowers are their smile. The fruits which are growing on the vine and creepers, they are the breast of the creepers. In this way, they are pleasing Krishna. And there are hundreds and thousands of birds thousands of birds came flying from different direction and they flocked together. They got their strategic position on the different branches of the tree. Now, why they sat in a strategic position? Vishwanath Thakur writes, they were acting like reporters. Whenever there is a great event happening, immediately all those media people, reporters, they come, they want to shoot the event, right? They want to note down all the things, what is happening on the event. So these birds are acting like a media people or reporters. So they took a strategic position where they can see the clear vision of Radha Krishna's swing. So they are sitting on the different benches. Now this beautiful forest of Vrindavan, the goddess of sky, she decorated the canopies by a different colors of silken cloths. All the silken cloths were hanging from the canopies. Now goddess of forest, she started decorating the canopies with different fruits. And she also decorated the canopies with white chamaras. Now when the white chamaras were hanging from the canopies, it looked like a white swans are sitting on the canopies. The whole swing was beautifully decorated with fragrant flowers. Now this main swing, Jhula, was suspended from a kadamba tree. The main Jhula where now Radha and Krishna would sit, this swing was suspended from kadamba tree and not from the tamal tree. Now Vishwanath Thakur writes that kadamba tree represents Sri Radha. It's whitish in color like Radha or yellowish color in like Radha. And the tamal tree represents Krishna, blackish color. So this Jhula or a swing or hindola is suspended from tamal tree, kadamba tree, that shows that kadamba tree is stronger than tamal tree. Sri Radha is stronger than Krishna. Now, our Acharya writes, Lakshmi is also called Sri. Sri Radha is also called Sri. Now, what is the difference between Radha and Lakshmi? Of course, principle-wise, tattva-wise, absolutely there is no difference. They are one. Lakshmi and Sri Radha, they are one. But pastime rasa-wise, there is little difference. Lakshmi, she takes happiness, she takes pleasure in massaging or serving Sri Lakshmi Narayan. Lakshmi becomes happy in serving Narayan. She takes shelter of Narayan. But here in Vrindavan, Krishna takes pleasure in serving Sri Radha. Krishna takes shelter of Sri Radha. So this is the difference between Lakshmi and Radha is, she takes pleasure in Narayan, she takes shelter of Narayan. Here Krishna takes pleasure in serving Sri Radha and he takes shelter of Sri Radha. Therefore, one of her name is Sri Ji, because Krishna also takes shelter of her lotus feet. Now this whole forest is divinely decorated with different flowers and fruits by the goddess of sky and goddess of forest. This whole arena is fragmented with the perfumes. Now goddess of forest, she makes different types of perfumes. How she makes the perfumes? She extracts, she twists the Kalpadruma tree of Vrindavan. All those Kalpadruma tree, goddess of forest, she twists those trees and from that extracts, she performs as she creates a perfume. Now that perfume is permeated everywhere in Vrindavan forest. The swing arena is beautiful fragrant. Now, suddenly, thousands of gopis, they arrive in the arena. Now, Vishwanath Thakur is saying, there was no one for some time before, there was no one around. Now, suddenly thousands of gopis have arrived. Where did Fratke come from? And Vishwanath Thakur says, they were coming out from the divine trees. It appeared that they are coming out from the Kalpa Vriksha tree. Now these gopis, they were decorated so beautifully. They had decorated their bodies so divinely. So Prabhupada writes, yes, in Krishna consciousness also, ladies should decorate themselves. But these gopis would decorate themselves for the pleasure of Krishna. Their beauty parlors were very high. They were decorate their bodies for pleasure of Krishna. Even the damsels of heaven, like Urvashi and Rama, Tilottama, when they would look at the bodies of the gopis, they were amazed. How can someone decorate their bodies so beautifully? The gopis were decorated the finest cloths. And they had tied up the sashes. Sashes means waist belt around their waist. And they had tucked many things around their waist. Like for example, they had tucked flower arrows around their waist. They also tucked flower bombs, flower balls around their waist. They were also carrying flask. The flask was filled with many ointments, perfumes. And these gopis looked like a well-armed soldiers of Cupid, ready for battle. So, these gopis were fully ready. Now the atmosphere, the arena is full ready. The birds are ready, the peacocks are ready, the gopis are ready, the swing is ready. And on the top in the sky, all the gods, they are also sitting in the audience. They are also waiting for one divine couple, that Nayaka and Nayika. The most beautiful, the original, the only hero, Krishna. That Nayaka and the heroine Krishna, Radha. So they are all waiting for this divine couple, Sri Radha and Krishna, to arrive in the Vrindavan forest. And then suddenly, Krishna and Radha entered in that Varsha Harsha forest where the swing is established. Krishna started walking in the forest like a royal elephant. Like a royal elephant, started walking. His left arm was on the shoulder of Vrishabhanu Nandini, Sri Radha. In his right hand, he was holding a lotus flower and twirling that lotus flower without any anxiety, with great happiness and joy, he was twirling that lotus flower. As soon as Radha and Krishna entered in that forest, in that grove, in the Nikunja, all the birds, they started screeching. They started shouting loudly, victory, 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 all the glories to Radha and Krishna. And the peacocks, they started cooing. They started singing, coo, coo, coo. Coo means who are these two? Who are these two? Coo, who are these two? They had seen Radha and Krishna before, thousands of times. But now they appeared like, first time they are seeing such a beautiful divine couple. Krishna was like a dark monsoon cloud. And Sri Radha was like a yellow lightning flashing in between the clouds. So now the peacocks, they become stunned and they started singing. Cuckoo started singing. As soon as the gods from the heaven, they saw Radha and Krishna, they couldn't stop themselves. They started showering flower petals over the head of Sri Radha and Krishna. As Krishna and Sri Radha entered the forest, Vrinda Devi had made all the arrangement. By seeing this divine, beautiful arrangement, Radha became very pleased with her and immediately she hugged Vrinda Devi. So now, Krishna and Sri Radha, Vrinda Devi made them sit on the swing. That swing was all those golden chains were hanging from the branch of the Kadamba tree and beautifully decorated with fragrant flowers. And the platform of the swing was covered with a white silken cloth, and there were shining pillows. As Radha and Krishna they sat on the swing, Lalita Devi, she started doing arati. Now Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he writes in the song, Jayo Jayo Radha Krishna Jugal Milana Lalita di Sakhi Gana Arati Karo e Lalita Adi Sakhi Gana. As Radha and Krishna is sitting on the Jhulan, on the swing, Lalita Devi started offering arati. Vishakha di Sakhi Gana Nana Rage Gaye. Now Vishakha Devi, as Lalita Devi is offering arati, Vishakha Devi is singing beautiful glories of Radha and Krishna in different ragas. Lalita Madhava Vame Vrishabhanu Kanya. Krishna is sitting on the swing, and Vame means the left side. Vrishabhanu Kanya Sri Radha, she is sitting on the left side of Sri Krishna. And Priyanarma Sakigana Chamara Dulai. All those Sakis and Manjaris, they were offering Chamara and fans for the pleasure of Radha and Krishna. Now our Acharyas give beautiful explanation. Lalita Devi and Vishakha Devi, they were carrying tambula in their hands. Champak Lata and Chitra Devi, they were carrying fans and chamara. Indulekha and Tunga Vidya, they were carrying golden pitchers in their hand, which was filled with nectar. Ranga Devi and Sudevi, they were carrying a flask filled with nectar or perfumes. And all other Sakis, they were carrying different ingredients for the pleasure of Krishna. So now, how our Vishwanath Thakur writes, all the gopis are there ready for a swing festival, and therefore, because many times the gopis, they cover their head with their veils, their pallu. But now it is a time for service. So they tied their veils around their waist, tied. Now there is a need of service, so there is no need of veil. So they tied their veil around their waist tightly, and then they went back, forth and forth, front and back, and they started pushing the swing. As soon as the swing started moving like a pendulum from one direction to another direction, all the branches of the tree started shaking. All those branches started showering their flowers over the head of Radha and Krishna. All their different branches and leaves, they also started fanning Krishna and Radha. Now, when the swing was moving like a pendulum from one direction to another direction, and when it would come to the center, Lalita Devi and Vishakha Devi, they would offer chamara, tambula, pan to Krishna. And all other Sakis, they were carrying sweet nectars. They were also serving. And then slowly, now Krishna, he wanted to increase the speed of the Jhula. So he kicked up. He pushed the Jhula, and now the swing moving so fast and so high. It is mentioned in Vishwanath Thakur writes, now this Jhula was established or suspended at the exactly of the center of the forest. Towards the eastern side of the forest to the Jhula was Jamuna river, and towards the western side of the swing was the forest. Now when the swing would move towards the eastern direction, because it was so huge, the Jhula was so long and huge, and it was moving so fast and high, it would cross half of the distance, the width of the Jamuna river. It would go above Jamuna's water. And when it would go towards the western side, it would cross and go above the top of the trees. And sometimes the gopis and everyone started looking. The swing was moving so fast from east to west, west to east. And then what happened? Suddenly, Sri Radha became a little frightened. And she requested Krishna, you please slow down the swing. But Krishna, instead of slowing down the speed of the swing, he increased the speed. And it was moving so fast. It is mentioned that the gopis, they started throwing color powder. Now that powder was made from crushing the flower petals. It was natural powder. They were throwing in the sky, and because of that powder, the gods from the heaven, they were looking down, and because of that red hue, their vision was obstructed. They couldn't see. Therefore, the gods from the heaven, they started showering flower petals, and now the flower petals, as they were coming down, they removed the red hue, and now their visions were clear. They could see clearly how Radha Krishnas are swinging. After some time, the gopis started throwing the flower balls or flower bombs. Now these flower balls were so soft, it could be broken simply by blowing on it. Although it was in the form of a ball, but it was so fragile that even if you just simply blow on those flowers, it will turn into many petals. So as the gopis were throwing the flower balls in the sky, they were colliding each other in the sky. And there was a rain of flower petals from the sky. And now Krishna also wanted to reciprocate with the gopis' love. Now here, like according to Purusha Sukta, Om Sahasra Shircha Purushaha, that Vishnu, he has thousands of arms. Now Krishna said, okay, let me take my Vishnu potency. He also expanded, he had thousands of arms. And with those thousands of arms, he also started showering those flower petals upon all the gopis. So, in this way, the gopis were serving Krishna and Radha. They were so happy. But then now the swing was moving so fast. At one point of time, because Radharani was also holding the ropes and the golden chain, and Krishna was also holding ropes and the golden chains of the swing. But it became so fast, Radharani gave up the swing and she embraced Krishna. Krishna was waiting for this opportunity. As soon as Sri Radha embraced Krishna, Krishna also gave up the rope. He also embraced Sri Radha. It appeared like a blue lotus flower and the yellow champaka flower. Blue lotus flower is Krishna, yellow champaka flower is Sri Radha. These two flowers are merging in each other. They are becoming one. So, goddesses like Lakshmi, Saraswati, Uma, Parvati, all the goddesses, they all were watching from the sky, sitting on their particular airplane. They were amazed. They say, we have seen hundreds and thousands of swing festival in our lives, but this is the best. Who can compare the swing of Radha and Krishna? Lakshmi and all the goddesses, they started appreciating so much. They felt like they are so fortunate to get a glimpse of Radha and Krishna swing in Vrindavan forest. As the swing was moving so fast, the gopis became worried because neither Krishna was holding the ropes nor Sri Radha was holding. And the swing was moving so fast and they were just standing. Now Lalita Devi, after some time, she stopped the Jhula. And then she requested Krishna, now please slow down. Now Sri Radha understood the desire of Sri Krishna. And then Sri Radha, she requested Lalita Devi to also sit on the swing next to Krishna. Now, Radha was sitting towards the left side of Krishna, and Lalita sat towards the right side of Krishna. That is her eternal position. So the gopis started singing. Radha is sitting on the left side, and Lalita sitting on the right side. Radha and Anuradha. Anuradha means, Anu means little, Radha. Little Radha is Lalita Devi. So Radharani is sitting on left side, Anuradha, Lalita Devi is sitting on a right side. Now all the gopis, they started pulling and the pushing the swing. Lalita Devi also sat for some time with this Krishna. Then afterwards, one by one, Vishaka and all the Sakhis, they also sat. After some time, Sri Radha, she got down from the swing, and then she made each and every gopi to sit next to Krishna, and she was personally pushing the swing, moving the swing. Of course, the gopis, nobody wanted to take service from Sri Radha, but it was her desire. So only for the pleasure of Sri Radha, she accepted service from Sri Radha. Our Acharya is right that Sri Radha is so humble. She never wants to come in the front. But she knows that if she is with Krishna, Krishna becomes very pleased. And therefore she keeps all the formalities aside and she is always with Sri Krishna. So in this way, this is the beautiful divine pastime of Sri Radha and Krishna, Jhulan lila, happens in Vrindavan Dham. So while this Jhulan lila was taking place in Vrindavan, there was one Kamsa spy. He was observing this. While this Jhulan was happening, Vrinda Devi called upon all the parrots headed by Shuka and Sari, male bird and the male parrot and the female parrot. And then they said, now Shuka and Sari, you please start glorifying Krishna and Radha. Now Radha and Krishna, the Shuka and Sari, they start glorifying. In one of the glorifications, Shuka says that Mother Yashoda, she is so concerned about Krishna's health. She wants to feed more and more Krishna because she thinks that Krishna is very skinny. And therefore she wants to feed him more. Now this Kamsa spy, he was hearing the glories which was sung by Shuka and Sari. He thought that Krishna is very skinny. Why our master Kamsa is so afraid of Krishna? So he immediately ran back to Mathura and he informed Kamsa. He said, my dear Krishna, my dear master Kamsa, you are unnecessarily worried about this boy. Just now I heard the glories. The Shuka, Sari were glorifying. He is like a flat rice. Krishna is like a flat rice, like a poha, patla poha. He is praising, he is telling to Kamsa, Krishna is like a flat rice, like a patla poha. Why are you so much worried? No, don't take tension. Be happy, enjoy your life. And then Kamsa started laughing and all the ministers, they all started, unnecessarily we are thinking that Krishna is very strong. See the Maya. So many demons were killed by Krishna before, but just because of one incident, they become so comfortable. Wow. There is no need to worry. So, this Yoga Maya potency of Krishna, there are hundreds and thousands of pastimes happening in Vrindavan Dham, and especially the Jhulan lila. So by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we are so fortunate that the same pastime what's happening in Vrindavan Dham in the spiritual world is also happening here. And sometimes we may understand the glories or we may not understand. Knowingly, unknowingly, whoever takes part in this Jhulan lila, it is as good as serving Radha and Krishna in the spiritual world. This is a reciprocation between Krishna and his devotees, especially the gopis. In the spiritual world, Krishna's devotees serve Krishna in 5 rasas. The first is Shanta rasa. Shanta rasa means neutrality. The second rasa is Dasya rasa. Dasya rasa means servitude. Master and the servant. The third relationship between Jivas and Krishna is Sakyaras, fraternal, or between two friends. The Jiva serves Krishna like a friend. The fourth rasa is Vatsalya, parental mood. Like the elderly Gopas, Gopis, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mai, their love towards Krishna is Vatsalya, parental. And the fifth is, the highest is Madhurya rasa or conjugal rasa. This is between lover and the beloved. How the gopis love Krishna, that is Madhurya rasa. What is the characteristics of Shantaras? In Shantaras, all those devotees, like the trees and the plants, birds and the animals, of course cows are not included in this. Cows serve Krishna in Vatsalya rasa. So all other animals, birds, reptiles, all the creatures, they serve Krishna in Shantaras. In Shantaras, they have respect for Krishna. There is a loyalty towards Krishna. And there is very little service for Krishna. In Dasyaras, the devotees have respect for Krishna. They have loyalty towards Krishna. Now here, one more aspect adds. That is, the service is very active. In Shantaras, service is very little. Now here is a most active service. In Sakyaras, there is a respect, there is a loyalty, there is an active service, and one more element increases here. That is, no hesitation. In Dasyaras, there is a hesitation between the devotee and the Lord. There is a relation, there is a little distance between master and the servant. But in Sakyaras, there is no hesitation. Now in the Vatsalya ras, there is a respect, there is a loyalty, there is active service, there is no hesitation. One more element adds here. That is Lalan Palan. Lalan Palan means nurturing or upbringing. That adds in Vatsalya ras. But the highest is Madhurya or a conjugal ras. How the younger gopis, they serve Krishna. That is a perfection in service. There is a respect, there is a loyalty, there is an active service, there is a lalan palan, upbringing and nurturing, plus there is a complete reciprocation, absolutely no hesitation. Even in Vatsalya ras, there is still some restrictions are there between parents and the child. But here in the Madhurya ras, how the gopis serve Krishna is absolutely no restrictions. The service is complete. The surrender is complete. One more added is Hasya Parihasya. Hasya Parihasya means humor and laughter. So in this way, there is a Sarvanga Seva in Madhurya ras. Now this opportunity is not there in the previous rasas. The Sarvanga Seva is only for the gopis of Madhurya Prem. The word gopi means there are two definitions, two meanings of gopi. One meaning is go means senses and pi means drinking. Gopis are one who drink nectar of Krishna Prema through their senses. That is gopi. And second meaning, which is most important, the gopi meaning is, gopi means gopaniya. Gopaniya means secret. The gopi is one who hides her love from others. She hides her beloved. That is the meaning of gopi. And therefore Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us the secret how to understand the relationship between the gopis, Krishna and Radharani, how to relish, how to experience that rasa. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Trinadapi suni chena taroriva sahishruna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One should be more humble than the blade of grass, or more tolerant than the trees. Actually, this bhava or a mood is not earned. It is offered to us. It is given to us. When we have that congenial mood of service, then this mood of bhava, Krishna Prema, Gopi Bhav is offered to the devotees by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur say that we should be mindful of every step what we are entering into. This bhava of Krishna and gopis should be left high above our heads. Then we can understand this lila.